evening, race fans, and welcome. As you just saw in the intro, we are coming to you from Hockenheimring in Germany this week. This is the CanAm VRL International Sportscar Championship. Last race 2 weeks ago was at Silverstone, our season opener in Great Britain, UK. Those of you that have been following us may notice that we had originally been scheduled to run at Slovakia Ring. That was a last-minute change on the schedule. I want to say last minute, we changed the schedule late last week due to some safety concerns with the Slovakia Ring track. A couple of spots where the LMP2 cars were going airborne. That caused safety concerns for the quality of the race, so we did a late change to Hockenheim. So we're in the fine country of Bratwurst and beer in Germany at the Hockenheimring. Speaking of last week's race, or not last week's, last race 2 weeks ago, it was a great season opener. Looking at the points results, we had 7 LMP2 cars start the race. I believe only 4 of them actually finished the race. We have Corey Reynolds takes the top step of the championship leaderboard with 36 points. It's 35 points for a win, and Corey also picked up the single point for the Lord Dragon KD Pole Award. So that is a 1-point bonus awarded for the driver that takes the pole position in class. So we have Corey on top on first place with 36 points. Josh Nessel pulled off managed to limp home in second place with an overheating engine. Managed to hold it together for the last 20 minutes of the race and bring it home in second for 32. Brett Nagel finished third and picked up 30 points. Greg Prochnow picked up 28 points for his fourth place finish. Joe Bryant in 5th picked up 26. Brian Pettit picked up 25 points for a 6th place finish. Again, he did not actually complete the race, but he did go far enough to pick up points. And Francisco Maya, otherwise known as Frank, picked up for 7th place. He picked up 24 points. The remaining drivers had not yet run a race, so they're not going to be running a full season with us, so they will be picking up points as the season progresses, but for the moment still sitting at 0. Speaking of drivers not running the full season with us, before I look at the GTE points, we have Dale Smith in 8th place at the moment on point standing with 0 points. Dale is actually joining me in the booth today. Thanks very much for joining me, Dale. How are you doing?
Great, and glad to be here.
Excellent. We are also expecting David Fuller, who's sitting in 9th place there, to pop in later on through the evening here to join us. He has not joined us yet. He'll be popping in a little later on. Looking at the GTE results, Josh Beeling picked up the win, started second, managed to take the lead of the race when Ian Pretorius, who started on pole, struggled a little bit and had a small incident. That unfortunately cost him the win. He was leading pretty steadily until that incident, and then Josh took over and never looked back. So Ian picks up the single point for pole position in the GTE class for the Lord Dragon KD Pole Award, and 32 points for his second place finish. That gives him a total of 33 points there. Morgan Rash brought his Corvette home in third, followed by the other Corvette of Jason Graves. So 3 Corvettes filled out 3 of the top 4 spots. Bruce Robinson, who really struggled leading up to the race and was literally just trying to, hang on and make it to the end and pick up whatever crumbs he could, managed to pull off a 5th place finish just through a steady, determined drive. Joe Nelson, Tom LaBeouf, Joe Daniels, and Reno all suffered some form of mechanical issues or damage issues and just kind of struggled through the race, ended up picking up a few points here and there. Yeah, you'll see me sitting in dead last in there, and I'm hoping at some point during the season I'll be able to get into one of these races myself. But for now, you guys have to suffer and put up with me as the broadcaster for these races. So let's take it over. The practice session is just winding down here. We have about 20 minutes remaining in the practice session, or have we already jumped to the qualifying session?
It says practice.
Okay, right. We're still in the practice session, so we have about 20 minutes left in the practice session. Looking at the clock, I should have known that. So the drivers are just, it's not somebody that's on the track here. Drivers are just doing last-minute fine-tuning.
Yeah, it looks like we have a couple people testing with the medium tires as compared to the softs. Obviously going to use softs for qualifying. But looking like about a half to 1 second difference. So we might see a little bit slower lap times come race time.
Yeah, that syncs up with what some of the drivers have been telling me throughout the week, that the medium tires are about a half to a second off the pace of the softs.
Yeah, they just don't allow for as many misjudgments.
Yeah. Not quite as much grip, but they do tend to last longer as long as you don't abuse them.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the way anything goes when you take care of it. Including marriages. So, but yeah, see, it's a marriage between a driver and a car here.
Absolutely. And just like other marriages, it can go.
Yes, it can. That's what happens when one pushes the other too hard. So, looking like we got pretty much everyone out there. You got a couple cars still left in the garage. We got Morgan's coming up to the pit lane. Ready to get on the track.
Excellent. We're on board with Ian. Well, on board. We're camera on Ian right now. He's just, again, circulating, getting some last-minute practice in, making some fine-tuning adjustments. But really, this is just about finding the rhythm of the track and getting themselves settled in for the night.
Yeah, I was noticing a couple people that when they first shuffled over to the mediums for practice, they were struggling to get back the feel of what the cars can and can't do.
Yeah, the difference in the grip level, and also the difference in how quickly the tire comes up to working temperature and working pressure is pretty significant, actually, between the soft and the medium compound.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that.
You might be able to get the soft tire up to temperature at, well, maybe not up to pressure, but up to the working temperature where it gets nice and tacky in maybe 2 laps, whereas the medium might take you through.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we got a pretty moderate track temperature here today. Nothing too hot, but it is Germany, so it's not gonna get crazy warm there. So I don't think engine overheating should be too bad today.
No, we shouldn't have too many issues there.
So, well, there again, if you're pushing it and trying to make up that little bit of difference, you can heat up the fuel and heat up the motor at the same time.
Yep, and that was the issue that Josh Nessel ran into last week, was that he just got a little too aggressive on closing up the radiators, looking for that slight aerodynamic edge. Silverstone being a pretty high-speed track, he was looking to reduce the drag as much as possible down those straights, and that, unfortunately, as soon as he got into the dirty air behind the car, his engine started to heat up. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you really don't realize the benefit unless you're out front. So, and that's the only time you can then really realize the benefit. As soon as you get a draft behind someone, then any advantage you have, or you had over someone, is gone, because they can have the same thing just by riding behind you.
Yeah.
So.
And as soon as he got in the dirty air, he wasn't getting enough air into the radiators anymore, and that caused the engine to start overheating. So he had to really pick and choose where he was driving. Had to cut his pace back a little bit to make sure he didn't ever get too close to anyone.
Well, that's going to come with the experience in these cars.
Yeah.
the more laps these guys put in, the better they'll have a good feel for how far they can push, what they can push.
For sure. With this simulator platform, it's quite new for most of us. We do have a number of drivers here who have a lot of experience with this platform, but the majority of us have just been really in any seriousness since about January. So definitely still in those very early stages and in the learning curve of trying to get comfortable with the simulator, the car, the track, the setup.
Yeah. Well, this is my first exposure with R Factor too. So, and it seems like a great platform. It's just I don't have it down, and I would rather not be a moving pylon on the track. So, help you here.
Well, I appreciate having someone to help me out. It was a bit of a slog on the last race by myself. Hopefully, we can entertain our spectators a little bit more this time around.
Sure thing. And quite literally, it gives me a new perspective on the whole sim racing thing. I've always thought, can't somebody do some great announcing for me? Well, I guess what? I'm gonna try it myself.
It definitely gives me a lot more respect for the excellent broadcasters that are out there doing sim racing broadcasts, but it also gives me a whole new level of respect for guys like John Heindel over at Radio Law, or the folks over on NBC Sports, the guys that do this professionally, the ability to talk about a topic and to discuss a topic with the knowledge level that they have to have and to make it entertaining. It's quite a skill, and I definitely have gained a whole lot more respect just through doing one race.
Oh, I have no doubt. I'm wondering how well I'm going to do, but I'm a rookie, so I'll give it my best, and we'll see what we can end up with.
Nope, sorry to interrupt. We've got Greg Brock now, who shows up as 2112 on the timing and scoring. We've got Henry local yellow in sector 2. Looks like he just lost the back end coming through the arena section.
He's back on the track, and looks like he's not limping too bad.
No, looked like he came in a little too hot there. I think that was through turn 7, coming into the 8-9 chicane, and he just lost the back end a little bit.
Yeah, he's pushing his setup, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we tend to do that, don't we? For that degree. Rather than the solid drive, it's the hare versus the tortoise. So, that's the one thing in endurance racing. You can have a great lap, but you got to have a lot of them.
You have to have a lot of them. You have to have 90 minutes worth of great laps in today's case. This is going to be a 90-minute race. Our next race will be a 60-minute race, and that's going to be something new for us as well. More of a sprint drivers there, some of them are going to be trying to push it to not have to stop at all during that race.
Well then you're getting into short shifting and feathering the throttle, so give up a little bit of lap speed to skip a pit stop is it's always risky. So when even just a splash of fuel will cost you 30 to 40 seconds of track time. Oh yeah, I remember, and this is raced on the Nürburgring, and after 90 minutes, the last 25 minutes, I had someone trying to pass me, and it was amazing. And we came across the line, the leader was behind us, and I ran out of fuel before the first corner.
Oh, ouch.
So I couldn't finish the last lap because I did exactly what you just said. Just trying to squeak it through.
Yeah.
And the last, and how can I short shift when someone's on my tail for 25 minutes?
Yeah, you couldn't even back off enough to allow
that. But it was fun. It was a memory that all had time. So.
that's the kind of case where you want to try and back it off a little bit, just so you can let the leader go by, so you don't have to do that one extra lap. But
yeah,
you can't do that when you've got somebody nipping at your heels.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was fun. Regardless of where I finished, I had a great time.
We always say that the having a great time and having fun is the. Let's be real. We're all racers. We're all competitive.
We want to win. I mean, the reality. But you know what? I won. I won that race. I don't care what position I finished. I won because I had literally the best race I've ever had in sim racing was that race. So that was fun. And so I screwed up. So
you know, I have to agree with you. Some of my favorite races have been ones that I've had where I'm fighting for 5th or 6th place, but it was a constant 90-minute battle for that one spot. And that's what makes it enjoyable for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had a bad start. I lost like 4 positions on the start, and I spent the first half of the race trying to get back to where I was. And then the whole mystery time during the pit stops, who's in front of you and all this kind of stuff. And because I didn't take on fuel, I gained a couple more spots, and I tried to backpedal, but I couldn't do it long. But it was fun. My strategy did not work. It was close. Just not close enough. But like I said, it was fun.
Just looking through some of the timing here, we've got, again, this is still the practice session. We've got just over 8 minutes remaining here. Looks like we've got some pretty close times. Ian Vertours is showing the way in GTE. He's running a 1:37.8 as his fast lap. But then
that's a pretty hot lap.
That is a very hot lap. I look back to 7th and 8th, 9th in overall, but this is 2nd, 3rd, 4th in class, and we have 3 drivers within a 10th of each other. We've got Tom LaBeouf at 1:38.874, Morgan Rash in the Corvette at a 38.938, and Joe Nelson nipping at his heels in the other BMW at 38.949.
Yeah. And start position always matters. That's not a question. It's just because you need to get through the first quarter cleanly.
Yep.
And I know that's what we really practice at. Everyone knows that these first couple laps need to be clean. But you still want to go fast.
Yeah. You want to get to the front. Everybody wants to get to the front.
And if somebody makes a mistake and then you're coming through the mess, that's not fun.
Looks like it was prepping in the LMP2.
That's too bad.
Yeah, hopefully he'll join back in. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a light crowd tonight. We do have a couple of drivers message as late as today saying they're under the weather, picked up a bug along the way, and in no shape to race tonight. So we are tonight. There's something else.
Another GT car.
No,
another
LMP2. Brian Pettit.
P2 car.
Yep, Brian Pettit.
Yep.
And they have 3 LMP2s at the moment. So hopefully that's just a case of stepping away, wanting to adjust something. So it is a bit of a light field tonight, unfortunately. But we're hoping to still have a good race.
Yeah, Corey looks like he's laid down a pretty quick time. We'll see what he does in qualifying.
Yeah.
But he's about a second faster than he was in practice earlier.
Yeah, he may be working on a qualifying setup already at that point. He may be trying to dial that in. He definitely does set some blistering laps. It doesn't seem to matter what track we get to. He's always fighting right there for the pole position.
Yeah. How sensitive have you found the tires are to tire pressure here
Um,
in our factor?
well, I've actually, and talking to some of the other drivers, they are sensitive, but not necessarily in a good way. There are some there are some rumors out there, and I will say that they were true. I don't know if they're still true now, but one of the flaws with the platform is that you're putting your tire pressures to lowest possible setting gives you amazing amount of grip without really having a negative impact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. So I expect these guys are all running lowest possible pressure, trying to see if there's any truth to that. You know, every sim platform out there has its quirks, has something that doesn't work quite the way it's supposed to work or intended to work.
Oh, we got Brian back. That's good.
Oh, that's good. Good. You know, and somebody's going to be smart enough out there to play around with enough settings to, you know, to figure it out. Eventually, everybody will catch on. And you know, it's unfortunate that it does happen. Like I said, it happens in every platform. I don't think I've had a single sim platform that hasn't had a quirk.
Oh yes.
The good news with us is that as a group, when we find something like that, we do tend to share it so that everybody's aware of it, and it helps them feel back.
Well, yeah, I mean, quite literally, it's no fun to walk away with a race. I mean, it's fun to win a race.
Yep.
But when you win the race, that's when it's fun.
Yes.
If you walk away with it, then it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, you want to feel like you've earned it.
Yeah.
And we do have a very competitive group here. We've got a lot of skilled drivers. We've got a lot of fast drivers, and they're all very competitive, but they're all of the same kind of attitude towards it, that they want to beat you straight up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's definitely a lot of sharing. Even it's great to see that even on the Discord between races, guys are helping each other out with setup suggestions and trying to address issues. I love the camaraderie that we have in this group. It's a competitive series, and people are fighting for the wins. They're fighting for the maximum points that they can get every race, but at the same time, it's not so competitive that people don't talk to each other, that they withhold information from each other. You know, there's a lot of friendship there as well.
Yeah, exactly. When you start getting people that you helping them tune. Now the reality is your best tune is going to be a start point for me. You know, because I need to dial it for what I have.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not, won't be able to just grab a tune and use it.
No, for sure. Every driver is different. Every driver needs something.
Yeah, so it's not like you're giving away, because no matter what, people are going to have to adjust it for themselves anyways.
Yep.
You know, but having a group of guys that you can talk to and, hey man, I'm having trouble here. Can you help me out? Oh yeah, here, try this, try that. So, but like you said, with the tire pressures, it's not an issue if everyone knows.
Exactly.
So, which is cool. You know, unfortunately, or fortunately, in this kind of racing, no one's making a living at this. So everyone wants to have a real good fun time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure the day will come where some of our guys here will be potentially make a living out of it. It's great to see the direction that sim racing in particular is taking, as both as an esport and as an entry into real racing. Just recently, Safe is Fast, which is presented by Honda, and it's Bobby Rahal is behind it. It's an educational series of videos. I'm sure most listeners that are watching right now are probably familiar with them. Great tutorial videos for sim racers and real racers. They're targeted at real drivers, driver development. You know, they'll do interviews with real drivers to get and engineers and others to get their insights into specific topics. They just recently did one that just released last week on esports and the game changer that it is, and how sim racing is now becoming what karting was for the last 30, 40 years. It is the talent search. It is the talent pool now.
Yeah, well, in fact, the country we're racing in right now has made e-racing an official motorsport.
Yes, they have. Yep.
So that's a real thing in Germany.
Yep, and the
FIA are getting real serious about it.
Yes, and the FIA has actually just recently launched an esports council to start looking at governing esports events as well. I mean, they're already involved with GT Sport, and they've got their license there and a series that they're endorsing there, but now they're looking to expand it and cover esports as a whole, the same way that they do with other real-world racing series.
Oh, so Joe went off the track there.
Yeah, Joe Nelson went off and then quickly bailed out and jumped back. We are in qualifying. So, just a quick recap.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, go ahead.
Quick recap here on how qualifying works. It's a 35-minute session total. The first 15 minutes of that session will be GTE cars only. So for the first 15 minutes, GTE cars have a green track. They can do as many laps as they want within that 15 minutes. We then take a 5-minute break. During that 5-minute break, it's a red flag session. Cars on track. The GTE cars that are on track when the checkered flies at the 15-minute mark are allowed to finish the lap that they're on. Then during the break, the drivers will have a quick driver's briefing to remind them of the start procedure for the race and the caution period procedure. We'll discuss that a little bit later. And then after that 5-minute break, so for the remaining 15 minutes of this 35-minute session, it will be the LMP2s on track exclusively. And again, they'll be able to run as many laps as they can or want within that 15 minutes. That'll be the qualifying.
Yep, and as I was going to mention, even other companies are starting to take esports seriously, like Hainesbrand, which is Champion Shoes, and some other brands as well. They have an apparel line. They're also doing charity events to use esports to raise funds for like United Way and so forth.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I was fortunate to be part of an event like that, and it went over quite well. And I'm actually going to help them make it even better. So
excellent.
More in the future.
You'd mentioned that you had your the sim racing chassis that you're developing.
Yep.
And building available there.
Yep. And we can talk more about that later. But right now we get some guys trying to lay down some good laps, and everyone's just finishing their warm-up lap, and we should be starting to see some lap times. Right now we got Joe's out in front of the pack. Or is that Ian out in front?
I believe Ian is at the front of the pack right now.
Yeah, he is. I was on the wrong
That's
card.
what we're watching right at the moment.
Yep.
And it's just the outlaps and times coming up. Yeah, we're not seeing much of anything. It's going to be a little bit longer here before we start seeing the lap times coming up.
We only have one Porsche tonight at GTE. We'll see what that solo brand can pull out of the hat. That Porsche definitely has a unique song to it, yes?
Yes, it does. That flat 6. It's definitely recognized.
Yeah, a bit higher in the revs.
As does, well, actually all three of the GTs have a distinct sound as well. There's something so unique about a flat six Porsche and that deep, throaty, hit you in the chest rumble of that pushrod V8 in the Chevrolet.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's just big displacement.
And if, for those of you that have not been fortunate enough to experience it in real life at the track, I can tell you, you can be, 300 yards off the edge of the racetrack, and you feel that engine vibrating in your chest. It's like you're getting punched in the chest when that car goes by.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The shock waves and the vibrations coming in from it are just incredible.
It's just amazing that the differences in the motors, and yet the speeds are almost identical.
I have to say that both of the sanctioning bodies for the FIA and ACO for the WEC series and IMSA for the WeatherTech series, the efforts that they've done on balancing so many different.
Oh, Marino got a little loose there.
He managed to save it.
Yes, he did.
We're still on board here with the. It looks like we've got lap times coming in now.
Yeah, there's some qualifying times for you.
Yeah, as I was saying, for those sanctioning bodies to be able to balance out so many different approaches to building a fast car, just amazes me that they're able to get them so well matched.
Oh yeah, in real world it's very difficult to match all these things. But that is the one beautiful thing about the esports, is it's really easy to monitor cheating. Meaning, Reno took a nice spin off the track, going through turn 1. But the point is that in the esports, especially like you were talking about, they're using them for scouting.
Yes.
It's the driver. It's not the equipment anymore.
It's the driver and the setup, and that's actually one of the points that was made that, in that video that I was mentioning, where what they're finding with the drivers that are coming up through the sim racing, they're much more in tune with what the car needs from a tuning and adjustment standpoint, because as a sim racer, you're having to be both driver and engineer.
Yes.
So the drivers that are coming up through the programs that have that sim racing experience, they're much better able to communicate with the engineer exactly what they're feeling from the car, what the car is doing. And that's actually becoming a huge benefit to the teams beyond a driver who's come up through the traditional method, doing karting and such.
Oh yeah, well, back in the day of Michael Schumacher, that was his thing. He could come off the track and tell the guys, hey, I need this, this, and this.
Yep.
Go out, and it did exactly what he wanted it to do.
Yep.
So, and that was a talent that he exceeded in, and that was one of the reasons he did so well.
Absolutely, yeah. That's one of the big reasons why he was so heavily sought after by all the top teams. He was a fantastic driver, but it was his ability to develop that car that was really what brought him so many championships and what really made the teams want to have him.
Yep, and like you said, this is a whole breeding ground of that kind of talent, is sim racing.
So just looking at lap times here, we've got Ian Pretora sitting on the pole position for the moment with a 1:37.5. Morgan Rash sitting second with a 1:38.154, and Joe Nelson in third with a 1:38.377. So we have BMW, Corvette, BMWs top of the hook, and the Porsche RSR at 1:38.649. Reno Delorio in the other BMW M8 at 1:38.742. And Jason Rabe in the number 4 Corvette with a 1:38.963. So We've got Ian
That's
out
a
there.
pretty tight pack.
It is. Ian's got a bit of an edge over everyone else, being the only one in the 37s, but everyone else is in the
8/10 of a second there.
Yeah, we've got 8/10 across the GTE class, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, it's not the ragged edge lap that's going to win you.
No, it's not. It's not. But it's great to see that the drivers are able to keep the times so close. It does seem to indicate that we should be in for a pretty good race if they're that evenly matched.
Yeah, and even Ian's lap is not that far out of anyone's range.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You know, one little mishap, one little bent fender in the first corner, and that you're gone.
Yep.
So
we have about 5 minutes remaining here in just over 5 minutes remaining for the GTE class. Do we have any drivers on track still? Jason Brave is out. I've got
he got through turn 1 pretty quick. That's one of the scariest corners in the European tracks, because you're going into it hot and hard.
Yeah.
So it's a narrow corner.
And the first lap is where it's going to be really, really interesting, because coming into this right, we have a rolling start, double file.
Oh, yes.
Which brings me back to starting procedures. Might as well throw that out now. The rules of this league, it is a formation lap under the safety car. Single formation lap. Safety car will pull in, and then the drivers will be off and running, and the green flag is across the stripe. Now, we use local yellows for all incidents, except in the first 5 green flag laps. First 5 green flag laps, if there is a multi-car incident, 2 or more cars involved in direct contact, those drivers are able to call for a course yellow during the first 5 green flag laps. And it's only allowed to be called once, and only during those 5 laps. Once they start lap 6, that's it, no more full course cautions. And the reason behind that is just to really allow drivers to stay in touch with each other in the early stages of the race. We know that the first few laps, 5-6 laps of the race, are when the pack is bunched up, and that's when there's most likely going to be a multi-vehicle incident. And we don't want to have drivers be taken out of the race and basically completely out of competition in the first 2 laps. So they'll have a chance to catch back up to the group. Stop in, pits will be open, they'll be able to get repairs and come back out. So the caution process is that the drivers will call a caution at the incident. The field immediately goes to pace lap speed. If the leading driver, so the first place driver in LMP2 at that point, has not yet passed the pit entrance, then the pits will be immediately over. Anybody who wants to dive in the pits, they come back out of the pits, whatever order they're in as they come out of the pit, out of the pits. At that point, that's the order that they remain in. They complete the next lap of their run, and as they come back to the stripe, they go green again on a restart. If the race leader has already passed the pit entrance and is unable to make it into the pits, then the pits will be closed and they will do an extra lap. That allows everybody that wants to pit stop to be able to get a pit stop without losing a lap. Without going a lap down, or without having to pit, as they're coming back down to the restart. Oh, big slide from Jason. Nice job saving that one.
I saw that. Yeah, he hang on that rear end out there. Yeah. Hanging on to it's quite a task in this sim.
Yes, it is.
But I think those provisions you guys have in this league for the beginning of the race is a really good thing. For the most part, what I've seen so far, you don't have to take advantage of it too often. but when you need it, it does make a big difference.
It does, and as we mentioned off the top, none of us are paid for this. We're doing it as a hobby, so we all want to have fun with it, and the fun is in being able to compete and have a lot of good close competition, and to possibly be taken completely out of that competition on the opening lap, potentially through no fault of your own because you got hit by someone else, is very deflating, and we want to try and minimize that to some extent.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead. Once the field starts to spread out a little bit more and the risk of that reduces, then we can handle things with the in-game local cautions, local yellows. But having the opportunity to at least call one field first caution at the start of the race, if needed, is definitely a big benefit. And by limiting it to only one, it also tries to help ensure that nobody tries to take advantage of it in some way, shape, or form.
Yep, it does make a big difference. I have been in races like that where you just, okay, fine, I'm just going to finish the race because I don't like to be the guy that leaves because I broke.
Yeah.
But even those, you tend to find some battles late in the race, so it's usually worth sticking around. I think in the future of sim racing, we're going to see more tools for like guys you and I right now broadcasting.
Yep.
That we can do that. You'll have race director tools that are local or track wide cautions and so forth.
Yep. So, sorry, just to interrupt real quick, just to give an update, we have had the checkered flag for GTE qualifying, so GTE qualifying is done. Oops, got the wrong screen up on here for you. GTE qualifying is done, and we have Ian Pretorius taking the Lord Dragon KD Pole Award for GTE class. Morgan Rash qualifies second. Reno Delorio will line up third. Joe Nelson dropped down to fourth. Reno ended up catching him. Jason Raid qualifies fifth, and Tom LaBeouf in the, I believe that's the only RSR. Yes, it is. He will be starting in sixth, and last place in the GTE class. So we have...
Yeah, look at that. Just barely over second spread.
Yep. We have
that's nice.
5 LMP2 cars that will be taking to the track in just under 4 minutes here. So they're having a driver briefing right now. This is a scheduled 5-minute red flag scenario here between sessions, and the LMP2s will be coming out in about 3.5 minutes. They'll be able to take to the track for their qualifying.
Okay, very good. Just to get people familiar with the track and track corner names. Turn 1 is the Nord curve, or what we would call the North curve.
Yep.
Then we have 1 and 2. 1 is a hard 90 into a S turn to 3 and 4. Down through Parabolica, which is considered a curve, but it's more like a long straight. And then the always interesting hairpin. Turn 1 is always congested on the first lap, and so is the hairpin. So we'll have fun there.
Yeah, those are our prime areas for potential cautions being called.
And then even into the Mercedes corner, which is corner 8, that's a tight little corner and will be congested on the first couple laps. Then we tend to open it up a little bit because the corners do open up through 9 and 10, 11 into the Sachs corner, which is like a little carousel. And 13 and 14, the cars are getting a little bit of air through there. And then 15 in the south curve, or the Sud curve, to finish up the lap.
Excellent. Thanks for that.
Yep. Yeah, this track's changed quite a bit from through the history on, and used to be a very long straight track with a handful of chicanes. That was a very scary track to drive. But this has its own excitement.
Yeah, I've driven the I've driven the old track more times than I've driven the new layout, the much shortened layout here, and some of those chicanes in the right cars, you didn't even have to slow down. They were there to slow the cars down, in theory, but really you didn't have to. The track, except for the current section that we still have now, the arena section, that is still the only remnants of the old track, and that hasn't really changed. What has changed is basically from turn 2, which is the tight right-hander coming down towards the parabolica. That used to continue on straight through the rest of the track down into the trees, and you came back again down where the hairpin is. That was the backside of the track. So the hairpin is where you take the hairpin and you do that right turn and come onto that straight heading down towards turn 6, I believe it is, towards the Mercedes. That straight.
That's 7.
Yeah, that straight used to that's part of the old track. That right-hander and the Mercedes complex there, the right with the two lefts, that was added in new as well. You used to just go straight through there, down into
what they call the mobile corner.
What they
right
call
now.
the mobile 1 curve, yeah. That's where the old track, that was all part of the old track as well. So the old track used to be straightaway all the way down to the mobile 1. We have LMP2s pulling out on track, but yeah, that old track was basically a right-handed oval, a clockwise oval track with a little bit of an arena complex at the end.
yeah. And the thing is, the old track was really designed for the low downforce cars.
Yes, it was.
To slow down in the chicane.
Yeah.
So that made a big difference. As soon as you start laying in the high downforce cars, they did exactly what you said. They basically blip through the chicanes and they fly through them.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're not much different than an oval. So this is definitely not an oval.
No, it's not. Far from it. Yeah, the old track, the last time they ran that old track was in 2000. That was the last year that they ran it. Since 2001, it's been this new layout. Or it might have actually been 1999 that was the last race on it. 2000 was either 2000 to 2001 or 99 to 2000 was when they did the reconfiguration. There's nothing left of the old track. It's all been they tore up all the old pavement and it allowed nature to take it over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, it's property that needed to be maintained. They didn't want to maintain it. So.
Yeah, and it was one of the other motivations behind it was that from a TV coverage standpoint, it was a very difficult track to cover for TV coverage.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I do remember the race that I believe it was Gerhard Berger won the race for Ferrari. One of the last races that ran there on the old layout, and on his on the cool down lap, he ended up running out of fuel. So his teammate at the time, Michael Schumacher, pulls over and picks him up and gives him a ride back on the side pod.
I do remember that. Yeah, well, this, that's the other thing that's changed in this motorsport is TV coverage is a whole lot different now. I actually expect we're going to see some interactive TV coverage come along not too far in the future.
It's already kind of starting. Formula E has really been trying to. They're trying to break that into that already with their fan boost voting and things like that. So
yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, but that's a choice. It's preference.
Yeah, it's an attempt. It's an attempt to get the audience involved. Whether it's the right attempt or not, that's not for me to say. But it is an attempt. So we're starting to see people dabble with
Yeah, and it's really for the developer.
Brett was very very brave on that one through turn 1.
Yeah, I missed that. So
he hopped it over the inside sausage curve and managed to hold it on track through the exit.
So, but you know, the point is that the race producers and developers of the platforms and stuff, they just have to find what works, and that's just going to take some time because our society now is rather fickle.
Yes.
So if I can't have it right now, I don't. You know, and not all of us are like that, but
nice save.
Yeah, yep. I wonder if that was part of that little bit of getting loose coming up over a hump.
That might have been. There are a few spots where, at least from our cameras, it appears that some of these LMP2s are actually getting a little bit of airborne. Corey Reynolds has not yet taken... Oh, he is out on track. There we go.
Yes, he is. He's just on his warm-up lap there.
Okay. You got 21.12 on track. Brett Nagel just took pole position for now.
Yep.
Got 21.12 sitting in second. Frank Maya sitting, sorry, 21.12. That's Greg Proch now.
Corey just laid down a
just
blistering lap.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm. He's just getting warmed up.
Yeah, that was his first time lap.
Yeah.
Those tires hadn't even come up to temperature yet. Oh, Frank just jumped up to second.
That's nice. That is the one thing about sim racing is the lack of the G-force feel. Really forces people to you know, you almost develop your other senses.
Yes.
So it makes a big difference, your sight, your hearing, and your feel.
Absolutely.
Do get enhanced. Reaction times, even for those who aren't striving for, you know, a pro racing spot. I've noticed a difference in real world reaction times.
Yeah, and I will second that. I've noticed that in myself as well, and I've also noticed even in my own driving to work in the morning and coming home in the evening, the amount of looks like he's overheating. He's overheating.
Yeah, he's got them ducts closed up.
Yeah, and I think he just noticed that. He may have blown an engine on that run. Yeah, so he just.
But that's how he. Yeah. That's why he went so fast, so quick.
Yep.
So.
126.9.
Closed.
Wow.
He had those vents closed, man.
Probably has his brake ducts completely sealed up too, but he went 126.9. Meanwhile, Frank in second is a 128.3.
Yeah.
Second, third, and fourth. Frank, Brett, and Greg are going to have a good battle. They're only 0.3 apart, the three of them.
Yep.
Yeah, as I was saying, reaction times, and you mentioned the other senses. It's even just on my morning commute, my afternoon commute, I found that I'm seeing things in front of me, you know, further out, and picking things up that a lot of drivers wouldn't pick up, and a lot of things that, excuse me, I myself would not have picked up in the past. But through the sim racing, you're training your brain to look for everything that's happening in front and to process that information.
Oh yeah,
so much quicker.
Just an indication of someone moving.
Yep.
You get an idea of what they're planning, and they're telegraphing your move.
And being able to anticipate, is that guy 3 cars up going to slam on the brakes or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those kinds of instincts.
Yep, and that's the one thing that I haven't seen a lot in sim racing. Maybe I'm naive, but being a little bit of a dirty driver, and I'm not saying a hack, I'm saying a little bit of a dirty driver, like using brake checks to force the guy trying to get by you to be off his pace. You know, it's very interesting. But I guess you have to have enough confidence while you're being followed to know when to do that. But and I'm sure there are some people that do it, but it makes, I know they do it a lot in real racing. I've seen it. I've never done enough real racing. I've done a little bit, but I've never done. I've seen. I've seen it where they've used the traffic and strategies to block or force the guy who's trying to pass you to defend the guy behind him.
Yeah, and that's actually talking about that. That's one of the beautiful tactics that you've got with multi-class racing, like we're doing here tonight. The LMP2 guys, if they get into a battle and they happen to be coming up on a GTE, if the guy in the lead times it right and does the move right, then without doing anything wrong or illegal or even dirty, he's able to use that GTE car to hinder the guy that's attacking him and get a little bit of breathing space back. The other side of that coin is the guy chasing can potentially also make use of that GTE car to potentially gain some time.
It is about timing. It's all about timing. But it makes for a good strategy too, because you have to really start thinking quite a bit ahead of what's going on.
Yeah, we actually had a really good situation in the last race where Corey and Greg were fighting for the lead. They were running first and second, battling for lead in LMP2, and they came up on Jason and Morgan, who were battling for, I believe it was third place at the time in GTE, and you know, both groups trying to, LMP2s in a battle, trying to pass two GTEs that are also in a battle, and you could see what each of the drivers was kind of signaling or thinking as they were approaching. It was really slick to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Looked like Greg just posted his quickest lap. He stepped up a little bit. Frank is
Corey still looked like he was on a hot one, but then he came up on Brian. Brian just moved out of his way, so they didn't hinder him too much. So that was.
But it does throw you off pace.
It does, because
for both drivers.
Yep.
Yep. And when we get into the race, we're going to see about a 10 or 11 seconds lap difference between the classes. So that's going to be quite interesting. And it looks like Corey is definitely set up for a one-lap car.
I was just going to say, Corey is showing a classic example of one of the, shall we say, advantages of being a sim racer. He just used up two very expensive engines on 5 laps.
Exactly. That is the beauty of sim racing. So it doesn't come out of your pocket. Well, it does. it does, but not in the same volume.
No, it's a few $1,000s, not a few million.
Exactly. So, and that's the other thing is people actually starting to take sim racing serious. Not starting. They've been doing it for a little bit, but more people are starting to realize it's not a game.
Yeah, and I think most of us as players or drivers have felt that way for a long time. What's nice to see is that the surrounding industries are starting to pick up that, and they're starting to realize the market that is there for the hobby. You look at a company like Sparco, who has now decided we're not just going to make safety equipment and driver equipment for real-world drivers. We're going to start producing products for sim racers. And we're seeing Sparco wheels being produced for sim racing. We're seeing Sparco chassis being built for sim racing with their seats and things like that. And they're being purpose-built for sim racers. They're not just a case of, well, let's take our our lowest cost Sparco seat and sell it as a sim racing product. They're actually purpose building products specifically for sim racing audience.
Yeah, and it does make a difference.
It does.
We were talking a little bit about the racing chassis kit I've been developing, and I chose a material that most people would ignore nowadays, and that's wood.
That makes two of us.
Yeah, you know, but the reality is that wood, for what we do, we don't have to have a lightweight rig. We don't have to have, you know, carbon fiber rig or whatever. But we do need the rig to work for us.
Yep.
And wood provides some very interesting nuances to it and material behaviors that even the best rigs out there don't have. So
the biggest advantage I find with wood, other than being a relatively inexpensive, easy to work with material, but the biggest advantage I find, and this is the reason that high-end speakers are still being built out of wood boxes, is the vibration properties that wood has, the ability to transmit vibrations. So when I get into a high force feedback situation where I'm getting a lot of vibration through the wheel, that vibration is now going through the wheel base into the wheel mount and actually vibrating all the way through my entire chassis. I'm actually feeling it through the seat of my butt, through my seat, because it's vibrating the base of the chassis.
Yep, and the other thing is the metal rigs that are out there, they tend to spring and bounce.
Yes.
And you lose a lot of the nuanced feeling you would normally have through the wheel, because it's just you're losing it through the chassis. So it does make a big difference.
Yeah. Sorry, that is it for qualifying for LMP2s. We are done qualifying, so we have Greg Prochnow, 2112, is still on track here. He's finishing up a flyer of a lap, hoping to gain a bit of a spot or close the gap. We have Corey Reynolds sitting on pole at the moment provisionally with a 126.659. Frank Maya at 127.822. Greg Prochnow is a 28.565, but he's hoping to improve that. Oh, he almost lost it, and he managed to hold it. Oh, he aborted that run.
Yeah,
so he will not gain any
he was
extra.
off on the lap anyway.
Yeah. He will not gain any extra. That's a 28.565 for third place. Brett Nagel with a 128.646. And Brian Pettit did improve his time, not his position, but he did improve his time up to a 130.248. So that is our 5 LMP2s. That is our starting grid. And we are going green in just a few minutes here.
All right.
So we've got a countdown timer running right now in the game that you'll see the time remaining is -138. There's the call to get the drivers to the grid. They've got, I believe it's now 90 seconds that we've set it for. Here we are forming up on the grid. They've got a 90-second time frame that we've adjusted on the server so that they can get their loads or load their setups. Their fuel and pit strategies get set up real quick, and then they will take to the grid. If they are not on the grid within that 90-second period, then they can start the race, but they will be starting from pit lane. So they do want to hurry and get themselves on.
So they have to start after everyone's left the across the line?
Yep. If they start from pit lane, then they have to wait for the entire field, including GTEs. If they're an LMP2, they have to wait for all the GTEs to go by before they can actually pull out of the pit box. They will have a red light at the end of the pit lane that will go green when they're allowed to go green.
Oh, okay, that makes it much easier
Yes. Yeah.
to judge then.
Yeah. But essentially, they have to wait until the entire field passes them, then they get released, so they'll have to work their way all the way through the field. So we have the Corvette pace car out front here that will lead them around on the formation lap. So let's go through the grid. Here we see Corey Reynolds, our pole sitter in LMP2, in the I Want to Be a Wade Taylor Cadillac. we have Frank Maya. We're having some issues with Frank with his livery not showing up properly. He has a new custom livery with colors the Colombian flag. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be showing up tonight. And we have Greg Prochnow, also goes by 2112, driving the number 99 Gainesville Red Dragon. We have Brett Nagel in his custom livery. It's a University of North Carolina livery. I can't remember. Drawn a blank. And then we have Brian.
Tar Heels?
Yes, it is. Tar Heels Racing, thank you. Brian Pettit in the NZXT. That's NZ for our American listeners, NZ for our Canadian listeners. In the number 42 dark rouge. Beautiful looking livery on that one. Then I have Ian Pretorius in the BMW, the gray and yellow BMW. He's our pole sitter in GTE. Morgan Rash qualified second in the STP Corvette, number 56. Reno DeLorio third in the number 27 BMW. We have Joe Nelson in the number 33 Luminous BMW. Jason Rabe in the number 4, but maybe I'm number 3 Corvette. For those that haven't picked up on it yet, it is the number 4 Corvette, but the custom livery still has a little hiccup that needs to be fixed where he has the number 3 at the back of the car. And then in bringing up the closing off the GTE class, we have Tom LaBeouf in the, drawing a blank on his number, I believe it's the 245. 245.
There we go.
And that is your grid. So again, the Corvette pace car is leading the grid around. We'll stick with the LMP2s here at the start. Hopefully the camera angle will be wide enough to give us a good view of the GTEs as they come across the line as well.
I'll back up a few spots and watch Ian go through.
That would be great if you see anything exciting happen during the start. Let me know and I'll try to jump on quick. So the drivers are trying to scrub the tires right now. You know, traditionally it's been believed that the weaving puts heat in the tires. Talking to other drivers, real-world drivers, it's really just to keep it clean, to get any pickup off of that may come up off the track, around the edge of the track, and this game does model that. Around the edge of the track you will have dirt and debris that gets kicked up from the track edge. Also have what's referred to as the marbles, which is little pieces of rubber that get torn off the tires. The drivers are trying to clean that off.
Looks like the pace car is peeled off.
Pace car's in. We are going green, and there they go. Corey gets a nice big jump on that last corner. We got backing up here. Looked like he suddenly backed right off. Looked like the Brett Nagel got a good run. He's moved up into second.
Looks like we got a very clean start to the first release. A little bit of tire smoke.
Yeah, we got some tire smoke there.
Going into turn 2.
Craig Prochnow got his spot back from Brett, but a little bit of tire smoke. Hopefully he didn't hot spot the tires too much.
Reno and Ian were side by side through 3 and 4.
Oh, we've got a good battle shaping up in GTE as well. This battle between Brett and Greg here in LMP2 is looking like it's going to be pretty intense for Alright, let's check in on the GTE field here real quick. He's still leading right on his back row. Tucked right up that way.
Yeah, very much so. The whole group is really tight right now.
Oh, Reno ran a little wide there. That's going to cost him time.
Yeah, but Jason will pick up that. See if he can close up on Reno.
Yeah, didn't cost him any position. It did cost him time. It's like
Joe's all over Jason's tail.
Yeah, Jason went a little bit wide there by the look of it on the last corner exit.
Got Ian finishing up his first lap, holding on to the first spot.
Corey's opened up quite a bit of a gap here in LMP2. He's got a bit of a breathing space here.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he's opened up them vents and brake ducts or not.
I'm pretty sure he has. I think that 2 blown engines in qualifying probably would have been enough of a hint for him.
Oh yeah, but he already knew.
Oh
so.
yeah. Oh yeah. That battle between Brett and Greg is not backing off at all. It's too hard to take.
Yep, it doesn't take much. One mistake and then take advantage of the either pull away or get by.
I'm actually surprised to see Frank is falling back. He's kind of losing the back end of Brett's car.
It's early in the race.
It's early, maybe waiting for his tires to come in, but Frank is definitely normally one of our top 2-3 fastest drivers in class.
What's interesting is Greg is running the medium tires.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
Definitely only planning a single pit stop then.
Yep.
Be interesting to see how well the soft tires hold up. How long they can run on those before they have to pit.
Back in GTE, Ian is the only medium tires as well.
Ian is on mediums and he's holding the lead quite nicely.
Yeah, but he's also, it's pit strategies, right?
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Now, drivers are free to choose whichever tire compound they want. There are no requirements for them to run each tire compound. We did that last season, last year in our IndyCar season that we had. Followed the IndyCar rules where we required to drive each of those compounds. That is not the case here. They can run whatever compound they want. So if they want to try and run the whole race on the softs, they can. But that may cost them on the track. As those tires wear down, they're going to start losing pace. The tires are going to start getting slippery. They may end up having to do an extra stop if they run strictly the softs. A lot of the drivers will choose to run the softs at the start just to make sure they've got that extra little bit of grip while they're in a one-shot pack. And they may switch over to mediums, do an early stop, and switch to mediums for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and also the track starts off a little greener.
Yep.
And does tend to rubber in. So you can still get good lap times later in the race with the harder tires.
Yeah, definitely. As the rubber builds up on the track, it makes the track grippier, and that provides more traction and more grip as well.
And I'm sure that's a factor in qualifying as well. That's why you see quicker laps at the end of the session usually.
Yeah. It's looking here. Looks like Raymond might be inching back up again, and he has opened his the gap for Jason again there. So the gap for the second is increasing. It looks like the gap between first and second is decreasing. But Joe Nelson and Morgan Rash, Joe and Morgan, that trio is still very close.
I haven't seen any tire smoke from Ian, even though he's running a tire.
He is an incredibly smooth driver.
Yeah, and Reno, I've seen, you can tell he's pushing it pretty hard. You see a puff here and there out of some tire smoke.
It looks like Greg has actually managed to pull away from Brett a little bit now, and Brett is now under pressure from Frank behind him. So Frank may have had his tires come up to pressure, and he's found his pace.
Oh, we got a little bit of a battle between Joe and Morgan. And Joe's trying to
Morgan's going for it. Morgan's going for it. Can he get it? Can he get it? No. Oh, Joe goes wide. Joe goes wide. Oh, that's unfortunate. Good quick recovery though. He's back on track. No harm, no foul.
Morgan moves up a spot.
Yep. Joe is going to have to be careful because those tires are going to be burning. So he's going to have probably at least half a lap or so. Those tires get cleaned off again. This is where he's going to have to be careful on braking.
Yeah, you know that the nature of this. We get back on the track, we get back on the gas.
Let's see if doesn't look like Tom's able to capitalize. It looks like Joe might actually be coming back at the work. Oh, see a little bit of tire swing there. Just as Morgan.
Yeah. Those soft tires might not take that kind of abuse as well as the mediums might.
Oh, what happened here? Jason got around Reno. We missed that. Oh, both of them get onto that run there on the curving, on the exit.
We did miss that.
Yeah, Jason got around Reno, so he's up in second. He's now his pace as well. He was concerned about his pace leading up to this race. He felt like he was off pace. Looks like he's down there. No change in the running order in LMP2. I'm going to check in on the running here. Brett and Frank. Although right now it looks like Reno's coming right back again at Jason. Right.
Actually, Brett's catching up to Greg.
Is he?
Yes, it's a three-car battle right now.
Oh boy. Which battle do we stick with on the cameras? We've got a battle at GTE. Looks like Jason's in that round. Let's go check in on the LMP2 battle. You're right.
Yep. Jason is starting to stretch out from Reno.
That's the torque of the pushrod V8 coming off those corners. He took advantage of that.
Yeah. It's a little bit heavier car. Doesn't get through the corners quite as well. But it's definitely got muscle.
Yes, it does. So Brett seems to have lost a little bit there. It looks like he ran wide on the exit of one of the corners. Went a little bit wide, had to catch the car. And that opened up the gap to Greg again. But the battle between Brett and Frank is staying hot.
Yeah, looking at the best laps right now, Brett is just a couple hundredths quicker than Greg on hot lap. But it's all a matter of consistency. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see the difference between mediums and hard or softs here pretty quick. And there goes Brett trying to get by Greg.
Making a move, and he's got it done. Nicely done.
Yep, both of them use their head.
And Greg ran
Brett
wide.
Gave it up a little bit.
He might lose that spot to Frank. Nope, he recovered. Fast enough. Frank couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, but I'm sure Greg has
Brett almost lost it, and Frank went around.
Yep. Yeah, there was a touch that just spun his car a little bit.
And that was both drivers. Oh, looks like he's got a little bit of front end damage. That was both drivers reacting to the fact that Brett got loose in that corner. His back end stepped out. Both Frank and Greg tried to react to it. They were both side by side because Frank was trying to put the move on Greg at that point. And unfortunately, a little bit of contact, a little bit of a slide from Frank off into the grass, and he lost some valuable track position there.
So Brett is going to have to step it up quite a bit to make up for an extra pit stop. See if he can do that.
Yeah, he's going to have to build out that gap, and I wonder if that's what Corey is doing. Corey's on the soft, and he's got a huge lead at this point.
Yeah.
He's actually starting to... Looks like he's lapped a GTE car already. Or did we miss a pit stop? No, he's got Joe Nelson. He's lapped Joe Nelson, and he's coming around to put a lap on Tom LaBeouf already in the RSR. Not sure what happened, but Joe has dropped all the way to the back of the field. Like
yeah, he had a long lap.
Yeah, looks like we may have missed an incident, unfortunately. Not not sure if that was on his own or if there was anything else involved in that. It's a pretty commanding lead that Corey has right now.
See if I can back it up myself. Not at this moment. Cars are kind of spreading out a little bit. The GTE, we still have some close battles between Jason, Reno, and Morgan.
Yeah, just looking at that right now, we're focused on Reno at the moment. And
here comes Corey behind them.
Yeah, I can't believe that he's already lapping. That's lapping.
Well, there's that 1%, right?
Yeah.
Formula One drivers, right? The top 1%, or 0.1% in some cases.
Yeah.
And the difference.
Oh, Reno had to go wide there. That's gonna slow up Corey a little bit, but doesn't.
A lot of it, but yeah, he'll be smart.
Yep. Doesn't look like Reno lost a lot of ground. He got lucky on that one.
Yeah. Even though he used the runoff.
Yeah, you can see he's getting blue flags there. You can see that on the trackside lights.
Yep.
So that was just a notification button from the LMP. He's using every bit of track and then some there. You're gonna have to watch that. That better not become a habit.
Yeah, cutting across the pit exit like that.
Just looking at how wide he was going on the exit. A lot of time gained by exceeding the track limits.
Do we have, is there limits, penalties or anything?
There are track limit penalties in game, however they are...
Corey lost, or blew that hairpin pretty bad. But, so in the game, there are penalties?
There are. If you exceed the track limits, you will get 3 notifications. On the 3rd notification, Reno's locking up quite a bit here. On the 3rd notification, you will receive a drive-through penalty, and every subsequent notification is an automatic drive-through penalty as well. So basically, 3 strikes, you're out. Any more strikes after 3, and every single one of those is a drive-through. Unfortunately, the track limit measurements, should we say, are not always equal on every track. So it is possible. It is possible on this track to exceed track limits by quite a bit in some spots and not receive one of those penalties. So there is a post race rule. And if we start to see patterns of a driver exceeding track limits extensively in the same location, then there is a possibility of which those kind of things.
Yeah, there's a difference between knowing how to hack the game, and driving it like you were sitting in it.
Yeah.
But it looks like Corey's lapped the GTE field.
Yeah, he's all the way around, and it looks like Brett's about to do the same. He's passed everybody except Ian at this point. And we've got Frank.
So there's the difference in the classes.
Yeah, we've got Frank on the tail end of Morgan right now, so he's already passed. He's got them right there in his sights. Reno's locking up quite a bit, so it looks like he's abused those tires pretty good.
Yeah. How many stops do you think the LFP cars on softs are going to go?
You know, I know the drivers are going to try and target one stop. Whether they can do that or not, I don't know. aggressiveness some of the guys are driving, I'm thinking they're not going to make one stop on the soft tires. I'm thinking they're going to have to hit 2 stops if they keep driving that way. Now, like I said, they may have decided to just take softs for the start of the race when they're skid, and then your pit stop, and take mediums for the rest of the race and not have to stop again. They will have worked out the strategies beforehand, knowing exactly how far they can go on each set of tires and how much fuel they need to be able to make the end of the race. We got Reno. Yeah. Reno taking a look. He tried. He's not able to get it slowed down enough to make the pass.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the guys on medium can finish the race.
They might be able to do it on the tires, but they will need to stop at least once for some fuel. They're going to need at least a splash of fuel.
Yeah, but don't they change the tires, then they do the fuel.
Right.
So it's a time save to not change tires.
Oh, absolutely. And if that's an available strategy, you know some of these guys are
take advantage of that.
Yep.
And these don't fuel up like F1 cars.
Reno locked up, went way wide. Morgan with a big slide. Trying to get
off the track. We got a local yellow.
Almost took out Greg when he came back on. That was close.
That was close.
That was very close. All right.
Oh, there. I think
he's off again. I think that's a combination of the tires going off, but also the dirt that he's picked up. Oh, Morgan going around. Yeah, that was Morgan that went around. I think we're starting to see the soft tires go away on these GTEs.
Yep. We're only 18 minutes in.
Yep.
By that extrapolation, you'd have to do a lot of sets of tires on soft.
Yeah,
so
you'd be looking at 3 sets minimum. And that's if you're able to nurse them.
So it'll be interesting to see who switches to mediums post pit stop here.
Yep. I'm just going to look through the field here to see if we've got any other close battles. It's looking like the field is getting pretty well spread out. Pretty good gaps between all of the P2s.
Yeah.
GTE, we've still got Ian showing the way. Jason Rabe in second. He's dropped back quite a ways from Ian. Reno is still showing third in class, but again, he overshot that corner just now.
He's off the track again, yep.
Yeah, he's overdriving the car based on the grid tires.
Well, like you mentioned earlier, you get off into the marbles or under the, you gotta give it at least a few corners to clean the tires up.
Yep. But, Tom's moved his way up. Last place in class to 4th in class, and he's hunting down 3rd. Oh, Reno just went for a rough ride over those speed bumps.
Yep, and here comes Tom, so. Yeah, I'm sure Reno's starting to feel some pressure, even from himself.
Oh, absolutely.
His psyche is definitely taking a beating just as much as the tires are.
Yeah. Especially when you make a mistake, it's one thing. If you can recover from it and get back into your groove, that's fine. You're usually good to go. You know, if that mistake then leads to another mistake, you know, you never get a chance to recover. You never get your mental capacity sorted back out and get settled into that rhythm again. It just it makes it so much easier to you know,
it definitely takes the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, and mistakes breed mistakes. You know, it's
and even if you gather it up again, it's hard to feel the same motivation.
Yep, confidence gets a little shaken.
Yep.
Looks like the battle for 4th in GTE is shaping up to be the closest fight that we'll have on the track.
P2 class. So there's your medium tires showing up.
Yep. Yep. Those mediums are showing their work. They're not dropping off the pace as quickly as the softs are. Yeah, that's your riding factor. So now this is where the medium tires are going to show their strength as the softs start to.
In fact, Greg just turned his fastest lap. So he's quite all the second, third, fourth just turned their fastest lap to last lap. So I think it's because they got some traffic. Got through the GTE cars.
Got through the GTE cars, and the tires are probably hitting their peak right now for the mediums.
Yeah.
There's Reno locking up again at the hairpin.
The P2 cars, do they have a smaller fuel tank?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So they're going to have to take on fuel.
They will definitely have to, and even the GTEs are going to have to take a splash during those 90-minute races.
Right.
Yeah. So everybody's going to have to stop at least once.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to go quiet here for a minute. I'm going to leave the camera here on this battle. Place in, actually it's not third. Reno, Tom, and Morgan battling. Leave the camera on this battle. I've got it on Tom and
Okay. It's nice to see all three of the brands out there doing competitively well. Tom is pushing the only Porsche on the track today, but the Vets and the BMWs. It's also very interesting to listen to the song of each of the motors, and they're noticeably different. It is amazing how on-track times aren't that much different. Even the body shapes are noticeably different between the three, and they're all really close in speed. Oh, we got Morgan swapping ends coming out of the hairpin, trying to make up the difference. We got Reno's seeing how far he can push those tires. Tom seems to be spinning just solid laps. Tom just spun his fastest lap of the race. That's starting to close in up on Reno. And Reno's getting the blue flag. As Corey makes the pass nice and easy. It's our P2 class leader.
How is that gap?
We had Morgan swap ends coming out of the hairpin. And but the positions haven't changed.
Okay. Looks like our gap in. Looks like the gap is pretty significant between Corey and Brett. Reno just got sideways there again. If I'm reading these numbers right, looks like the gap between Corey in first and Brett in second.
That is correct.
Wow. That's now granted Brett and Greg and Frank battling for a while there while Corey was just running away, but that's a pretty dominant performance so far.
Yeah, but and also look at the difference between Frank and Greg. We've got a 12 seconds difference there. Oh, we had looks like Greg just lost the rear end. Coming through, was it 7 and 8 or 8 and 9? If I'm correct.
I think it was 7 and 8. Greg's in.
Okay.
Greg's just in the arena complex here right now.
He might be trying to maintain the lap times, even with the medium tires, and he's overdriving a bit. It's hard to tell. But there's, he was 12 seconds back, and this is where the tires are showing.
Yeah.
But 12 seconds does not make a pit stop. So, if that's all you lost between pit stops was 12 seconds, you're doing very good.
Yeah.
And I have to say that we're having some really clean racing in the classes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a little bit close there. 3 and 2 leaders.
Yeah, and Greg just lost the tail coming out of the hairpin as he passed the GTE car.
And I believe that was Reno that he passed.
It was Joe.
Oh, it was Joe. That's our last runner. We got this battle between Reno and Tom that was heated back up again. Tom is right there, maybe a car length back.
Yeah, Tom's hot lap is not as quick as Reno's, but he's running consistent.
And especially with these longer endurance type races or non-sprint races, consistency is key. You make up far more ground by running the same lap time consistently than you do by running a hot lap and then 3 seconds slower and then another hot lap.
Reno was making room for the P2 car.
Yeah.
So he didn't really drive through that hairpin too deep. He just went to make room.
Yeah.
So when I first switched to him, it looked like he overdrove the corner, but now I saw that he was strategically letting the P2 car go.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're watching that battle right now between Reno and Tom. P2s are coming through right now. Actually, the P2s, no, that is Frank actually coming around a lap behind that. So we have the P2 trying to lap the GTEs, while another P2 is trying to lap everybody in that pack.
Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. Yes, we had 2 cars passing in GTE and 1 P2 passing another.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Oh, I love multi-class racing.
Yep. And it didn't look like it's hurt the battle between Tom and Reno.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And we have Brett coming by. Brett of, is that Morgan? No, that's not Morgan. That's Jason. Nice clean pass.
Camera-wise, we're sticking here with this battle between Reno and Tom for now. It seems to be the closest line on track at the moment. We've got just under an hour left to race, so just over 30 minutes gone. That went by quick.
Yeah, didn't it though? I mean, I remember looking down at the clock and seeing it at 7 minutes, and also it said 31 minutes.
Yeah. No, it's a small field, but it's been pretty entertaining so far.
Oh yeah, very much so. The dirt from the sand pits, does that actually accumulate on the track?
It does. I'm not sure if it does visually, but it definitely does from a driving standpoint.
From the physics?
Yeah. So, for drivers that are familiar with Project Cars 2, they have what they call the live track, which means that the track does get rubbered in and accumulate rubber and build up rubber. It builds up the marbles, it builds up the dirt, the water pools and puddles on it. R Factor 2 has the same type of concept, and they call it real.
Okay.
So it's just their trade name for it. But it's the same concept. It means that the track evolves the same way a real track evolves in the real world. So the rubber builds up and gets embedded into the cracks and crevices on the pavement as it comes off the tires. That's what helps add grip to the track.
Now that's the things that as we've gone through time in the sim world, they've really been adding a lot.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
That's the difference between the Simcade and the Sim.
It is, for sure. And that's the kind of thing that we started seeing. You know, we started seeing it appear in simulators back in the early 2000s already. So 2003, 2004, there was a series of simulators, GTR2 and GT Legends, and part of the development team for that is what is now known as Sled Studios. A long history there. Don't really want to go into it all, but so the live track that Project Cars 2 has, they called it Live Track 3.0. The reason it's called 3.0 is because 2.0 was actually in GT Legends already. 1.0 was in GTR, and in GTR 2, I believe they called it 2.5. So it's been around. That approach and the attempt to evolve that has been around since about 2003.
Yeah, well, it also makes a big difference because I've recently had a chance to try Forza 7 on a gaming console. It was fun. It looks terrific. But the physics aren't there. And the stuff like the live track is not there. You can go ahead and turn what they say is simulation on for damage and tire and fuel use, but it really isn't that much difference.
Right.
It's still a great fun game, don't get me wrong, but it's not a sim.
No, it's not. It tries to be, but it's you know, there's two markets. There's the casual racer, and there's the hardcore sim racer, and it's just a difference in philosophy and a difference in approach to how you approach the world of sim racing and video game racing. It's more of a mindset. Some guys want, and I'm one of those. I want it as close to the real thing as I can possibly get it. Because let's be honest, at my age and with my income, I'm never going to be able to do it for free. So this is as close as I'm going to get. So I want it to be as authentic as it can be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then there's the other kind of gamer racer that really just wants to casually sit down, pick up a controller or pick up an inexpensive wheel, and go throw some exotic sports car around for 10-15 minutes, you know, just sliding it out, doing whatever.
Well,
and neither one is better, neither one is right, neither one is wrong. It's just different approaches, different attitudes towards what you want for fun, right?
And there's the other end of, or another aspect of it is cost.
Yep.
You know, you can get into a console game, even if you buy the most expensive one, it's only $500.
Yep.
You know, you buy a steering wheel for $250.
We got get Brian Pettit off track just after he passed a couple of GTEs. Now he's got to do it all over again.
Oh, that's too bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. We still have a fairly tight battle between Tom and Reno.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at.
With
Brian
with
right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to take care of that. He's going to get clear of that.
Yeah,
but,
that's what he thought a few minutes ago, too, and then he ended up off track and slotted right back in between them again.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, does it?
Nope.
But, you know, like the console games are very inexpensive, and the quality has really come a long way.
Oh, yeah, the quality from a graphic standpoint and even just a fun factor, I mean, you can't argue against them. And I will never argue against one being better than the other or anything like that. It's just a difference in philosophy of how the player wants to play.
Exactly.
And to be able to try and I think this is where somebody like Slightly Mad Studios, and I don't want to criticize them. In fact, I praise them for what they've done. And we ran the Project Cars platform for a number of seasons. But unfortunately, it had some issues that impacted our style of online multiplayer racing that we're trying to do. It didn't suit that purpose. And that's the thing about a lot of these different platforms is that they really need to pick and choose what purpose they want to serve and what target audience they want to hit. And I think that's the one area where Slightly Mad Studios with the Project Cars franchise, I don't want to say bit off more than they can chew, but they're trying to be all things to all players.
They spread themselves too thin.
Yeah,
I will say that I ran Project Cars 2 on the console, first time ever. I dropped it in, I sat in the car, it felt terrific instantly. I mean, all default settings. And it was totally drivable, totally a lot of fun. Whereas in the PC, it took me months to get it feeling good. You know, but it's like, wow, why?
Yeah.
Well, you're a very captured, narrow hardware, audience on the console.
Yes. And I think
very
that's
easy to tune for that.
Yeah, that's one of the big differences.
So I have a feeling that in esports racing, we're going to see that kind of hardware narrowing for competition.
You know, that's possible. That's possible.
Maybe not consoles, but there will be a specified, just like motors in the cars.
Yep.
There will be a specified, hardware rig.
And, you already see that to some extent when you see some of these events. Like, for example, R-Factor 2 was used in 2017 at CES in Vegas. They had a competition between 20 sim racers and 10 professional Formula E drivers. It was sponsored by Visa. It had $1 million total prize pool.
Isn't that amazing?
They used R-Factor 2 with the Formula E mods that Studio 397 has produced. And they held that on stage live in Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show in 2017. There, it was the organizers provided the hardware. And if you look at any of these esports qualifiers that they do live on stage, if you look at the finals for the GT Academy, if you look at the World's Fastest Gamer finals, anything like that, it's all organizer provided hardware on that stage. So everybody's using the exact same spec of hardware.
Yeah, I'm just watching Reno right now, and he's really abusing the tires.
Yes, he is. He's sliding the back end. He's locking up. We've got a good battle going here. Again, it is about the only battle that we have on track right now. The rest of the field has spread out. We still have Corey Reynolds leading the way in the LMP2. Brett Bagel, Frank Maya in third, Craig Crocknow in fourth, Brian Pettit in fifth. In GTE, we've still got Ian Pretorius out front. front. Jason Rave has moved up to second. Good run from him. Reno is in third.
It looks like Greg's on softs now.
All right. We've got Reno in third that we're watching here. And we've got Tom right behind him, just a couple of car lengths back, trying to close the gap and get that position from him. They've been running third and fourth for quite a bit now, and it's kind of typical ebb and flow. Tom will gain a little bit, and then Reno will pull back out a little bit, so there's kind of cat and mouse here right now. We've got Brett Nagel in second place in LMP2 trying to come through right now, passing the traffic here. Morgan Rash has dropped down to fifth, and Joe Nelson is having a bit of a rough run. He's dropped back to sixth in last place on GTE, which was a little disappointing. He had a good start, qualified I believe third, so he had a good starting position, but he ran into some troubles and he's slipped all the way to the back.
You know, that happens.
It does. Halfway mark as we get there. Oh, big slide.
Okay. But Morgan looks like he's gathered it back up and is making up for some of his spins earlier.
Okay.
He's just
Frank came in way too hot, went way wide through the gravel. Just in the middle of that battle between Tom and Reno, trying to get by. Reno's getting blue flags, but he's getting them in tough spots. Very difficult to let a car by in those locations. High speed sweeping corners.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a close moment there between Greg and Morgan. Finishing up the lap, going through the carousel.
Let's do a run through the field here and see these guys on camera for a little bit. We've got, again, Corey Reynolds still leading the way in LMP2. This is a Orica chassis, the Spec Orica Global Spec chassis, but it's sporting the Wayne Taylor Cadillac DPI livery. So that's why I like to refer to it I want to be a Cadillac. Brett Nagel in second, and this is the battle of the 2 seconds. We've got an LMP2 second place driver taking a lap on the GTE second place driver as he goes his way by Jason Rave.
Yeah, we haven't been focusing on Ian or Jason.
No, we haven't. They're running pretty steady pace, and they're just kind of holding station. The only, like I said, the only real battle that we've got on track right now is between Reno and Tom. So we're kind of focused on that. Just working through the grid here right now. We've got Frank Maya on screen right now, coming in and he is approaching Jason, actually. So we might be having he's trying to hunt down Brett. The gap is not that big between those two. Might turn in, we might keep to the end of this piece. We've got Greg Kroc now in the number 99 Gainscope Red Dragon Orica. Out our LMP2 grid, so Greg is now approaching that battle between Reno and Tom. We'll see we'll stick with him for a little bit here and see how well he can get through that.
Sorry, I'm just messing with some of the dashboards.
No Probably.
Gain a little bit more insight.
Oh, that's a sketchy place to try and make that move. That was a high-speed sweeper. It's a good thing Tom saw it coming and gave him room. That probably would not have been my preferred place to make that pass, but they got it done cleanly. Probably looked worse from our camera angles than it was on track. Oh, we've got Reno pulling into the pits. Just that was a close one too, because Greg was just about to try and go by him on the inside of that corner, and Reno dove into the pits. We've got Ian in the pits as well, so the GTE runners are starting to make their pit stop. Makes sense. We're just past the halfway mark. Ian's coming back out of the pits right now. He's dropped down actually to third place in class now.
And he's still running the medium tires, though.
Is he?
Yes.
So single stop, medium tires both stints. And he's about to come under pressure as he comes out on his out lap. He's about to come under pressure from Morgan. This is for position now. Cold tires versus hot tires. And fresh tires versus worn tires.
yeah. Also medium versus soft.
Yeah, Morgan's got the run on him right now. Let's see if he goes for the move or not. Morgan should be coming in for his pit stop fairly soon. If not this lap.
But Ian just hitting the apex perfect on the hairpin.
Yep.
There was no slide to that car at all.
No. Like I said, he is an incredibly smooth driver. Very precise driver. Very controlled driver.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm really surprised with is how popular the GT classes are. The GTE, the GT3, these are very, very popular with many drivers.
Yeah, the GT3s, the popularity there doesn't surprise me because they are a high-power, high-performance race car, but relatively easy to master because of the driver aids that they do have. They have traction control. They also have ABS. The GTE cars, on the other hand, although they're in most cases the exact same car, there are aerodynamic differences. There are some performance differences from a horsepower standpoint. Not a lot, but there are some subtle differences. But really the biggest difference between a GT3 and a GTE is that the GTE does not have ABS. So it's a little more driver skill, driver technique required, a little more precision for the driver from the standpoint of braking. So GT3 in the real world, remember, is built for the gentleman driver. You know, it's built to be driven by amateur racers, by a pro-am environment. Whereas the GTEs, yes, the ACO and WEC does have a pro-am class for GTE. But if we look at IMSA, for example, the pro factory efforts with all the pro drivers is the GT-LM class. We've got Morgan going off wide there. Whereas the GT Daytona class, which is a GT3 spec with its own BOP assigned, is a pro-am class. And that's just because it's easier for the non-professional drivers. It's a little bit easier to manage the car when you do have the assistance of ABS as well as the traction control. LMP2 also here does not have ABS. It does have traction control, no ABS, which is why you do see the tire lockers that you see.
Yep. And it makes a difference, not as much of a difference on a sprint race, but on the long races, the lockups really add up quickly.
They absolutely do.
You don't feel as a flat spotting that often. You can if you really overdo it.
And actually, in this particular sim, that's the one thing that really impresses me is that the flat spotting can be very severe. If you lock up hard initially and put a big flat spot on there in the first place, you'll feel it. If it's just a little flat spot, it won't be too bad. But what I also like that's very authentic, once you get that first flat spot, it just gets easier and easier to lock up that wheel. and it makes the flat spot more impressive.
Yeah, yeah. But and then there's also the difference between a high downforce car and a low downforce car that we see on the track right now.
No! Sorry,
what happened?
Jason Rabe was just coming into the pits, and as he was coming around the corner on pit entry, he lost the back end and slammed the back end up against the tire barrier. Oh, that is not what he wanted or needed when he was leading the race right now. He's in his pit stall, but now his pit stop just got a little bit longer because of those repairs that he's going to need.
Yeah, because it was, Tom was actually catching up quite a bit there.
Yeah.
Yep. I was going to say that the driving style is hugely different when it comes to braking with a high downforce car.
Oh, absolutely.
Because initially in a high downforce car, you have to get on the brakes hard early and then feather off.
Absolutely.
Whereas you don't get on the brakes hard with a low downforce car.
Not unless you want your front end or your back end to be where your front end used to be.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Or you're going to lock up very hard and you're going to end up with bad flat spots. Yeah, this is not good for Jason. That's unfortunate. He's dropped all the way down to 5th place already. Tom has taken the lead. Ian is up to 2nd. Nice to see Jason's coming out already, so the repairs were not that significant. But that incident cost him track position. Definitely.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So now
And,
Morgan still has to stop. I believe Tom still has to stop. Reno has stopped. So that fight between Jason and Reno is going to be a straight up fight period on it.
Yep.
I haven't seen any of the LMP2s make any pit stops yet. Any pit stops.
Well, they have had to, because Greg was on mediums.
Okay, so Greg has stopped for sure. If you've got the timing and scoring screen up there for that other tool, it will tell you how many pit stops they've made.
Let's see. We have Corey says 3. Really?
Stops.
Yeah. That can't be right, because there's a DNF, DQ, and pit. And right below pit, it says 3.
Wow. Unless that's cumulative for...
I don't know. No, I'm reading the incorrect thing there, apparently.
That doesn't seem right that he's made 3 stops.
No.
He would not have the lead that he's got if he had.
Incorrect info. Let me see if I can find some telemetry that'll tell me that.
Ian just had a big lockup going into the air pit. Oh, and Brett just had a big slide coming out of it. And he's got Frank caught on his tail now. As we approach the tail end
1 hour mark?
Yeah, we approach the 1 hour mark, 30 minutes remaining. Just want to give a brief shout out to our partners here. First and foremost, I'd like to recognize our promotional and marketing partners over at Intact.gg. Intact is a professional esports team specializing in Counter-Strike, Fortnite, and Rocket League tournaments. As I said, they're a professional esports team. They've had a huge run of success lately, having won a couple of championships in recent months and the last year or two. If you're at all interested in high quality, big off by Frank, big off. If you're at all interested in high quality...
Oh, he lost his wing.
Yeah, he had a big off. He was chasing down Brett, and I think he missed his brake marker, lost sight of where he was on track. Draft may have got him out, but he didn't slow down at all to the corner.
Yeah, he's having a hard time just limping it back to the pits right now.
Yeah, that'll be a tough pill to swallow for him. So yeah, Intact GG. If you're at all interested in the professional esports and any of those platforms, definitely head on over to Twitch to check them out. They've got their Twitch streams up there regularly for all of their battles. Check out their website at intact.gg, and as their slogan says, rise above.
Look like we have a suspension failure on Frank's car.
Yeah, he's definitely, that's a retirement. That's unfortunate. Looks like Brian may slide up into that 4th place spot now. That'll gain him a few extra points. So Frank will still be scored, but he will most likely end up with 5th place points, unless something happens to Brian before he manages to gain that spot. Still got Tom LaBeouf running in the lead here in GTE. There's a block up there. I'm not sure if it's pitted. I didn't think he had pitted yet. Oh yeah, he's done one pit stop apparently, so... No, that number's got to be off. He hasn't stopped yet. I have a feeling that it's counting in the pits before the start of the race as one pit stop on this team.
Yeah, because everything I have is showing that Corey's been in the pits 3 times.
Yeah, I'm only seeing 2 times.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna say he's been in once. Brett's been in once. Greg has been in once. Brian has been in once, and unfortunately Frank has DNF'd. So Brian has just taken over the 4th place spot. There we go. Tom's in the pits now. Tom's pitting right now. We're on camera with him. So Ian has retaken the lead in GTE. Ian Pretorius back to the lead. Let's see what happens with Morgan Rash. Morgan Rash is also pitting, so this will be a battle of the pit crews for Tom and Morgan to see who comes out ahead. I expect Tom to leave. Yeah, he's just leaving now. Morgan's just got into his stall and getting his tires done, so that's not going to develop. However, guess who's going to be battling again? Because here comes Reno right onto the back end of Tom.
Yep.
So those 2 did trade places, but now we've got Tom on cold tires and Reno on hot tires. And although Reno's tires are not as fresh, laps he stopped probably, I'd say about 10-15 minutes ago.
Yeah, and the couple of corners I've seen him take just now.
Tom's...
He feels, he feels a little bit more smooth.
Yeah, and
than it was on the worn tires. So
I think Tom is riding driving in his mirror a little bit right now, being worried about it.
He's going to hurt those tires if he's not careful.
Yeah. They're not up to temperature yet, and he's struggling with braking grip, so he's locking them up quite a bit.
Yeah, keeps it interesting.
Yes, it does. It's been the best battle all race long, and
we got Brian in the pits right now. He's getting ready to come out of the pits.
Yeah, he's just exiting now. We're just taking a look at it. This fight between Tom and Reno has been the best battle all race, and it looks like it's going to stay that way right to the end.
Yep. Yeah, because if we look at the lap times between Tom and Reno, there's almost a 1 second difference. Reno has gone quicker on fast lap than Tom, but Tom is just putting in a stellarly solid drive.
Yeah,
and moving up the field.
And there's the difference between a consistent driver versus a driver who's able to put in fast laps, but then ends up having a few more inconsistencies. I won't call them mistakes. I'll just say inconsistencies.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Tom is still you can tell he's feeling the pressure right now.
Yes, he definitely is. He's driving a little too much in his rear. And he just needs to focus forward at this point. Forget about his rear view mirror. Just focus forward, get those tires heated up, and find his rhythm. You know, that's the other thing about the pit stops is that it gives you a minute to rest, but it can also completely destroy a driver's rhythm.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. So that was the other thing on the old Hockenheim track. On the slower, low downforce cars, the straightaways were so long, you could. There was no rhythm.
No, there was no rhythm, and you weren't generating any heat in the tires. So you had low downforce, no heat in the tires, and then you had those chicanes that you had to slow down for.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, corner. Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, that's it. It's like, wow. It's like, oh man, I forgot. I'm just cruising through the forest here.
Yep.
So, but this layout is a really nice layout. Like, they've taken some of the history and held on to it in the track, so it still has similar characteristics.
Yep.
But it's a much more interesting track to race. Yeah, listen to the different song of the motors.
Yeah. And you know, this track, with what they've done with the layout on it, and this section that they've kept has always been that way. It's always been a stadium section. But now with the way they've modified the layout, the whole track is pretty much a stadium track. You know, there's grandstands and bleachers almost all the way around. So from a spectator standpoint, it's a fantastic facility.
Yep.
Oh, big lockup and a slide by Tom. He's pushing, that's for sure. Like you said, he's definitely feeling that pressure. And Reno seems to have settled in. He's driving much smoother. Seems to be able to maybe focus a little better when he's chasing a carrot rather than being a carrot.
Yeah. Well, and it does make a big difference. Chasing someone down for me is much easier than it is to defend.
Oh, he's going. He's got to run. He's looking to do it at the hairpin.
Yep. Let's see if they can keep the two cars apart.
Oh! Very nicely done.
But Tom just took him to school.
Yeah.
Hanging inside.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's a drag race. Who's going to flinch? Oh, Tom backed out of it.
Yep.
Tom backed out of it.
Looks like Reno carried enough speed out of the corner to make the difference.
Yeah, they were side by side when they came out of the corner. Tom did a beautiful over-under on him.
Yeah, but he pitched it too tight. That's all it was.
Yeah. And I think it was also a case of live to fight another day. He backed off at the high speed because there's no way you can go two cars through that.
No, it was worth it.
Yeah,
just
survival instinct kicked in there, and he backed it off. And
there's a big difference between third and last.
Yep.
If you have a DNF, so.
Yep.
Case in point is when I was in 5th place and I went to 18th place because I ran out of fuel. So there we go. So
yeah, I've had a few of those myself.
You know, but you know what? It still brings a smile to my face because it was fun.
We had we do a Project Cars 2 1 series on had one the other night, a couple weeks ago. It was so the way that series works, it's a 30-minute race, but it's 2 races in the night, and they're single make spec series, and each race is a different car and a different track. So
oh wow!
It's just to allow us, again, it's just to have some fun, and it's to allow us to try out cars and tracks that we might not otherwise try.
Yeah.
And we were racing the 72, the Focus Mark II, the RS 1600 Street Focus, or not Focus, the Escort.
Yes.
And I forget what track it was, but I love that little car. And managed to actually get out into the lead early on that race and led most of the race until 5 minutes left to go. Made one mistake, spun it out, and it was one of those tight battles. I went from first to last in about 30 seconds. Man,
that hurt. But it's still fun.
Oh, it was great up until that mistake.
Oh yeah, yeah. On that game, my most favorite car to drive is the Lotus 25.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's the what is it, 62 Lotus? I can't remember what year it was. But yeah, those were a handful. They weren't the high-powered 67s.
Right.
But they had a lot less tire.
Yes, they did. They had the skinny little things.
Yep.
All right, just run through the field here again. We've got Corey Reynolds in the lead. I believe that was Jason Brave that he just came around. Yes, it was. So we got Corey Reynolds in the lead in LMP2. It looks like he's actually put a lap on Greg. Greg is in 3rd place, but on camera is right behind Jason. Looks like Corey has lapped all the way up to 3rd place now. Brett Nagel sitting in 2nd. Greg Crocknow in 3rd, about to come by Jason Brave in the GTE. That's done nicely, and off in the distance up ahead, as we see the long shot, we got Corey off in the distance. Pretty sure that Greg is now a lap down to the leader. Got Brian.
Yes, he is.
Got Brian Pettit 4th in LMP2. Frank is in the garage. He's dropped all the way down to 11th overall. He's last place in LMP2. Unfortunately, big off, significant damage, and had to retire the car. Race leader in GTE. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the back of the car. Was that just the camera angle? No, just the camera angle.
Just the camera, yeah.
Ian Pretorius in 1st place in GTE, 5th overall. We've got Reno Morrow in another BMW in 2nd. It's actually a really, really good result for him at this point. I think he started about mid-pack, had dropped to the back at one point, and has fought his way back up against slowly but surely. Had some struggles early on in the race, but he's settled it down, especially since the pit stops, and has really fought back. Good to see him up in 2nd place.
We had Greg spin out as he was trying to pass Tom.
Oh no.
Yeah, in corner 8.
Go take a look at Tom here. We got Tom LaBeouf in the Porsche. He was in 2nd, but the cold tires kind of caught him out a little bit. As he came out of the pits, he was immediately under pressure from Reno, and ultimately Reno, several laps later, ended up getting by him just a few minutes ago. It was a good battle to watch. Looks like Tom is just settled in right now and is just fine hanging on to 3rd place here.
And it looks like Greg, yes, he'll get by you there.
Big cut to the left to get the line in the corner.
I think he had room, but it was pretty drastic.
Yeah, and the P2s are able to carry much more speed through those corners. So.
Yes.
Down in 4th in GTE, bit of a disappointment here for him, considering he was leading at one point as he was coming into the pits. We have Jason Ray in the number 4 car, sitting in fourth. As he was coming into his pit stop on pit entry, he lost the back end of the car and it came around and made contact with the tire barrier. A little bit of damage, lengthened his pit stop, and lost him time on pit road as well because of the recovery from the spin. Unfortunate for him, he was looking like he was going to be a podium finisher today. Closing in behind him, we can just see him off the back here. Morgan Rash in the number 56 ST Corvette running 5th, and it looks like he's trying to hunt down Casey. Not sure if that's going to develop into a battle. We've got about 17 minutes left here. That could shape up into something.
Well, you know, Morgan looks like when he's hunting, he's doing a pretty good job. Actually, when he's by himself, he's really solid.
Yeah.
He gets excited in traffic sometimes. Yeah, like none of us else ever have that problem, right?
Yeah, that never happens to me.
Yeah, I bet.
And another one having a rough night tonight. Started off very well with a strong qualifying and a strong opening couple of laps, first 5 or 10 laps. But then he got into a little bit of trouble, and you can see some damage on the back of the car here. Joe Nelson down in last place in 6th, I believe it is, for GTE. And 10th overall.
That's another example of the difference between a sim and a game, is the damage model.
Yeah.
So it does make up. You pay the price for overindulgence.
Yes, you do. Although unless it's as bad as what happened with Frank, the beautiful part about a sim is repairs are usually done pretty quickly. And in most cases, if you can make it back to the pits and get the repair done, the car feels exactly the same after the repair as it did before the accident. Which is never the case in the real world.
No. Yeah, I just remember racing Grand Prix Legends, and they didn't have pit stops, even in the game.
Yeah.
Because those cars didn't take on fuel, they didn't fix the cars. So, but yeah, so this is a whole lot more fun. If something does go awry, you can still have a showing. Joe's having a hard time holding on to his car right now, so I bet you there is some damage going on there.
I'm pretty sure there is. Joe is an experienced driver, and yeah, he does, he'll make the odd mistake like we all do, but for the most part, he's a very experienced driver and fairly smooth. Oh, this is going to get dicey.
Morgan got past Jason.
Oh, Morgan did pass Jason. We missed that, sorry. Was just watching Corey, our LMP2 leader, trying to get by Ian, our GTE leader. And he got a little too hot coming in one of the slower corners, overshot the corner, and went off. Now he's got to try it all over again. And now he gets it done clean.
Reno went really deep on the hairpin to let Brian go by. But I think he went further than he needed to, but it's better safe than sorry in those cases.
Morgan chasing down Reno, and Jason right behind him. Tom all the way back. I'm not sure what happened to Tom here. We missed something somewhere, but Tom has dropped way back, and he's all by himself on track now. I'm thinking he had an off somewhere.
Yep.
We've got Reno, and Morgan is only about a corner or so behind. And
yeah, I see that.
Jason is not far off of Morgan.
So this could wind up into a nice snug battle at the end. We'll see.
I
think between Jason and Morgan, definitely. I don't know if they're going to catch up to Reno.
I'm actually thinking more that Jason has probably settled into a pace at this point, knowing what he's like as a driver. Morgan is probably going to try and hunt down Reno.
Okay.
That's just, knowing the personalities.
Okay.
That's my suspicion.
and you get into that hunt looking for that qualifying tight lap to catch up and make up the difference.
Yeah.
Especially as the clock ticks down. We got 13 minutes, probably what, 10 or 11 laps?
About that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at about a minute 40 a lap.
Oh. And Reno almost lost it going through corner 8.
And that's the kind of thing that Morgan's going to see, and that's just going to spur him on to pushing hard to try and catch up. That's that whole hunting and chasing.
So right now it's Morgan, it's Reno's second place to lose.
Yep.
So let's see if he can hold on to it and stay calm. Invert that, stay calm and hold on to it.
Yeah. He definitely needs to stay focused. The toughest thing at this point is keeping your eyes off of your mirror.
There he goes again.
Yeah, he's clipping too much of the inside sausage, and that's kicking him to the right, or to the left, sorry. It's kicking him off track to the outside.
And I see exactly what you were saying is Jason has settled in, and Morgan's on the hunt.
Yeah, Jason tends to be the kind of driver that he knows where his limit is, he knows where his pace is. And unless he can clearly gain that spot, if he knows for a fact that he can get that spot, then he's going to push. But if he knows that the chances are slim to none of getting that spot back, then he's only going to drive about 95%. He's going to make sure that he doesn't make the mistakes. He'd rather capitalize on someone else's mistake than roll away by making his own mistake. So he'll just settle in now. He's got a pace he's comfortable with. I don't want to say resigned himself to 4th place, but he knows that Morgan's got more pace than him right now, so he's not going to push by trying to run.
Yep. And a touch between Morgan and Reno could open it up and let Jason go right on by.
Yeah, and Reno's starting to push again. He sees Morgan coming. He's starting to lock the brakes up a little more.
Yeah, he's letting the smoke out of the tires.
Yep. Once you let that magic smoke out, it's all over.
Yeah. You do get some allotted. You got some freedom there, but you can't let it all out. Yeah, this is tightening up quite quickly here.
Yeah, Morgan's closed that gap up quite a bit.
We got 10 minutes left. 7 to 8 laps, depending on how the clock spins. Oh, we got front tire locking up from Mr. Reno there.
Yep. I will say it's been an entertaining race even with the small grid.
Yes.
The small field was a little bit disappointing. I would like to have seen more drivers make it. Oh,
Reno drove really deep. Now we're gonna make it interesting.
Yeah, Morgan almost followed him out there. Morgan came in a little too hot as well. He did a fine job managing to slow it down.
Yeah, well, he probably followed him right through.
Yep, target fixation.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep, but now he's right under that curve.
Yep.
And
but a tangle like that would let Jason right on by.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and he's just going to sit there, bide his time, wait for it to happen. He's realized that he can't maintain that pace.
Yep. I'm watching the BMW, and it is getting through some of the corners better than the Vet. But that Vet muscle on the long straights makes the world different.
Also, coming off the slow corners, you can see the Corvette's got so much more low end front.
And there goes a defensive move.
Yep. Reno's taking the defensive line, and Morgan's saying, yeah, I'm having none of that. I'll just go around the outside.
And here he goes.
And he's got the run. Looked like there was almost a touch there. He didn't pull out quite far enough. Can he get it done? Can he get it done?
What happens?
Oh no!
And that was a strategic drive by Morgan in that corner.
Yeah, we're going to have to double check the post-race replay and see if there was contact there.
If there was, it was very minor.
Yeah, it didn't look like it. Definitely looked like Reno was trying to carry some more speed through there to do the over-under.
Well, and, yeah, he wasn't anticipating
Morgan looked like
slowing him down so much.
Yeah, he had no choice because the line he was on still.
Yep.
But guess who's right there knocking on the door again because of that?
Yep. Jason can possibly pull up a spot here.
Yep. He can get himself back on the computer. So Morgan's going to scamper away at this point. I would say he's definitely got the pace.
And unfortunately, Tom is nowhere in sight. He was pushing it so hard, so well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Tom. He looked like he was on pace for a good run as well.
I don't think he's broken the car. He's still turning laps in his normal range. He's within 1 second of his hot lap kind of thing.
Yeah, I think he had a pretty big off somewhere that cost him a lot of time, and that's obviously something happened because 3 cars got by him. Yeah, Jason's right there. He's looking. Just before we finish up, we're down to about 6 minutes here. Just before there's a big block up by Reno, and he's feeling that pressure. Just before we get far close to the end here, things heat up too much. One last shout out to one of our partners, Sadler Computers in the UK. Sadler Computers is hosting our R Factor 2 dedicated server. For all of your R Factor 2 needs, check out Sadler Computers. They will set you up with a variety of options for dedicated servers, and very willing to work with their customers.
Oh, that's very interesting. Brett's just coming out of the pits right now, and Greg is taking over second spot.
I see that. I wonder what happened with Brett. Any signs of visible damage on that car? Doesn't look like it.
But it is late for a stop, so...
Yes, it is. So he might have been light on fuel. That might have been a splash and dash.
Sorry to break into your announcement there.
No, that's fine. Picks up second place again. That's where he started, if I remember correctly, off the grid.
And Jason is getting closer. He's definitely knocking on Reno's door.
Just looking through the LMP2 field here, we're on board with Corey in first place. Greg Prochnow in second. Got Brett Nagel in third after his brief pit stop there. Brian Pettit has stuck with it. He's got himself up into fourth place. Unfortunately, at the expense of Frank Maya, who is retired in the pits. Leading GTE is Ian Pretorius with a pretty substantial gap over second place. Morgan Rash just got a good pass done a few laps ago on sitting in third. Under heavy pressure right now from Jason Rames, so we're going to stick with this battle for the rest of the race probably. Just over 3.5 minutes left to go in what has been a rather exciting race, all things considered. Again, we had a small grid tonight, 11 cars started the race. 5 in LMP2, 6 in GTE. Number of regular drivers suffering from seasonal illness or having other priorities for the evening.
I don't know about you, but even at work, we've had some pretty heavy missing people just because of the flu this year.
Yeah, there's been a lot of head and chest colds going around here the last couple of weeks. Jason Ray right under the rear wing of Reno at this point. Less than a car length separating.
All it's going to take is one mistake.
Yeah, and Jason's driving a little more aggressively right now. He can smell that.
See that.
He can smell that position. He wants that podium.
And he's got about 2 more laps. Maybe.
Yep.
Possibly 3, depending on how the clock lays out when the leader goes over.
Yeah, hard to tell at the moment where he is in relation to them. Reno's back to locking up the brakes again, so he definitely thinks Jason's there. Actually managed to open up that gap and it's up to 3 car lengths now.
But there again, we just went through the more technical area. And that's where the BMW tends to pull out.
Yep.
And now this is the area where we're going to see the vet showing.
Yep. Especially coming off back right there and then coming off from here. We're going to see the Corvette get a lot of good, gain a lot of spot or space back again there.
So there's the differences, and it will show it. This is actually a pretty balanced track because of that.
Jason's going. Jason's going.
And there's your hairpin.
Yep.
Acceleration.
Has he got the run up the inside? No, he tucks back in behind, but he is right there. And the other thing we need to watch out for. Reno lost it under braking.
Yep. Overdrove it.
Yep, just a little too late on the brakes. Had to lock it up to get the car under control, and Jason goes through. Now, can Jason keep it, or is Reno going to come back? Reno's not giving up. Oh, no, that's it. It's over. Yeah. Well, no, Reno managed to get it back on track fairly quick.
Yeah, but he's got dirty tires, so...
Got dirty tires. The gap's going to open up.
Yeah, you're going to see that. You're gonna pay the price.
Yes, he is. But did the right thing, especially at the beginning there. Just kept his foot on it, kept the momentum up on the car, and got it as quickly and as good as he could.
Yeah. Very exciting race. Awesome.
Yeah, it's been more entertaining than I expected it to be with the smaller grid size. Oh, Jason just had a big lockout there. That's gonna give Reno a bit of a run again.
Well, there is a difference between defending and attacking.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, defending is not one of my favorite things to do.
No, Reno's trying. Reno's trying.
Well, at least he's letting him know he's there.
There's contact. That's contact. And Reno's... Okay, Reno is acknowledging it. That was what I would call a racing incident. That was Jason getting loose over the curbing. Reno's doing the very sportsman thing of giving the spot back.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take
credit for that. No driver wants to. But that also negates any potential for any penalties.
Right.
From what we saw on camera, that would have been a racing incident anyways. Jason got loose, did sideways over the curbing, and he was already sideways when Reno got in the back of him. Yeah,
both
Jason,
of them.
Well, Jason's probably got a little bit of damage. He did smack the wall pretty hard, plus he got rear-ended pretty hard, so he's probably got some damage. They're gonna try and fight it out. They're gonna try and fight it out.
And this is where the BMW shines.
This is it, and Jason goes around. Jason just went around on his own.
It was fun though.
Yes, it was. It was a very entertaining effort on both their parts. That's unfortunate. You know, there was nothing Reno could do to avoid that. Jason had gotten sideways on the curb already, and with how close Reno was, there was nothing he could do by getting into that one. Definitely not Reno's fault at all, but I give him full credit for being the true sportsman and giving back that spot after that incident.
So am I reading this right? Reno and Jason are done?
Yes, they are. We are 2 minutes past checkered flag, and again, I got so caught up in that battle, we completely missed seeing the race winner, Corey Reynolds, come across the line. We missed seeing Ian come across the line. He just did. So
well, Corey is still on the track.
Yeah, he is. He's circulating. He's just
okay.
He's just doing his cool down. He's coming back into the pits. So, give you the final rundown. Unofficial results. Corey Reynolds in first in LMP2. Greg Prochnow, or 2112, in second. Brett Nagel in third. Brian Pettit in fourth in LMP2. And there's our second and fourth place cars here on screen right there. Winner in GTE, first place Ian Pretorius. Second place goes to Morgan Rash. Reno DeLorio, after an exciting battle with Jason Rabe and an unfortunate end result for both drivers, Reno ends up taking the final podium spot in GTE. Jason Rabe, unfortunately, ends up in fourth. Rough circumstances there for both of those drivers. Tom ends up down in fifth in class, and Joe Nelson in sixth.
I will say that in the GTE class, they, outside of Ian had a stellar drive today, but there was position changes all through the race.
Yes, there was. It was there was some good battles. There was some good battles all the way through in GTE. Some excitement with unfortunate circumstances, shall we say. A few incidents, a few off-track excursions, but it was a good battle all the way through in GTE. Ian just ran a stellar, consistent event. You know, did what he always does. He just puts in the laps, puts in the laps, puts in the laps. Just, you know, just out for a Sunday drive, so to speak. Corey, pretty much the same thing in LMP2. Just put in the laps, put in the laps, put in the laps. But between Greg and Brett, there was some excellent battles there as well. So for our next race, we'll be in 2 weeks' time again on the 23rd of March, and that race will come to you from Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Hope you can all join us for Dale Smith and myself, Tom Harder. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.